Cool. So let's get started. First agenda item is update on the ProgPow audit. I'm not sure. So there was an update. We talked about it on the core devs call. I'm not sure if anyone has anything else to add about it.
Yeah, it looks like Charles and Hudson are not on this call. We are in the process of, I shouldn't say we because it's really them, except that it's our multi-sig. So we're in the process of paying a deposit of 15,000 DAI to Least Authority for the audit. We received an invoice. They received an invoice, which they shared with me. We double, triple, quadruple checked all the information, the recipient, address, amount, et cetera, through various channels. I initiated that transaction last night. I don't think they've confirmed it yet. They may want to do one more spot check and just make a smaller transaction first or something. But yeah, that's just a quick update.
Cool. So I think it probably makes.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So you'll see that those funds disappear from our multi-sig soon.
Got it. Does it make sense to remove this as an agenda item going forward? So it seems like it's pretty much done.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. So let's do that. And obviously, if people have things they have to discuss, then we can add it on an ad hoc basis. Anything else on ProgPow? Okay. Next one, hard fork coordination update. I'm happy to give a quick update there. So last week's all core dev was pretty interesting. Basically, we were looking through the EAPs, and it was pretty clear that the mid-August testnet hard fork was not going to happen. So we decided to push the testnet hard fork back 2 weeks, the first week of September. And then there's a bunch of EAPs that are pretty sure that we'll get in by then. And then there were a couple more that are a bit more speculative. So either there's some technical details to flesh out. There's ProgPow, which has the audit and whatnot. So there was a conversation about potentially splitting Istanbul in 2 forks. So a first one that would happen this fall, and the next one that would happen early next year. And basically, we would not accept any EAPs that haven't already been proposed for Istanbul. But if there's some more complex EAPs, it just might give us, having 2 forks might give us a chance to actually get them in. So I posted in the chat the Istanbul EIP, the Meta hard fork EIP. And you can see there's 2 sections there. One is accepted, the other one is tentatively accepted. So accepted is basically stuff that we're pretty sure will make it for the October fork. Tentatively accepted is stuff that core devs are going to try and implement in their clients, and we'll see how far we get along, and we'll either add them to the October fork if possible. Otherwise, they might be considered for early 2020 fork. Yeah, so that's pretty much the updates there. Anyone have questions, comments?
So this early 2020 EAP that is basically going to be, sorry, the early 2020 fork is going to be Istanbul Part 2, right?
Is going to be what, sorry?
That's going to be Istanbul Part 2. I mean, that would be like the fork
Yep.
we originally considered, right?
Yeah, so it would be anything that's not included this fall that's either in the tentatively accepted EAPs list or in the proposed EAPs. So this week would be the last week for something to go from proposed to tentatively accepted. But nothing new, right? That hasn't even been, that we're not aware of. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so moving on. Update on the action items from the Constantinople postmortem. Anyone have updates there?
I think, I'm not sure. From my end, whatever I did last, that is there, still there in the open PR, that is there. I could not do further, and since Charles and William, I guess, is not here, they are also working on it. So it's
Cool.
the action item 11.1 that I still see there. That is the thing. So you can
Okay. Does it make sense to keep this as a recurring agenda item, or?
I think we should probably go ahead and have a look and like close it, because this is not too complicated thing. I
Okay.
believe that health is also trying to add something to that. So when it is done and added as a PR, then we can bring it back to the agenda item. Otherwise, we can remove it for the time being.
Okay.
I mean,
Sounds
that's
good.
my thought.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Does anyone disagree with that? Seems pretty reasonable. Okay. Cool. Let's do that. Next item on the agenda was the multi-sig accounting. Lane, I know you were looking into that. I don't know if you have an update.
Unfortunately not. Yeah, this is still an outstanding item. As I said, William and I had worked on it a few weeks back, primarily him. It's, well, I mean, I guess the benefit of finishing this ProgPow stuff is that hopefully those funds will leave the multi-sig, and that should simplify things going forward, but I do think there's still some work to be done to reconcile the history. I do think this should remain on the agenda until it gets done, because it's pretty important. It's important just in general, you know, so we know what funds we have. It's doubly important because we care obviously about things like accountability and transparency, and you know, this should all of our spreadsheet accounting, GitHub, et cetera, should all reflect, you know, an accurate representation of our understanding of the numbers. I don't have a specific proposal for how to do it. It's really just one or two people have to, you know, sit down and spend a few hours to go through it. I'm happy to volunteer to do that. I just don't know for sure when I'll have the chance to do it. Like, I can't promise to do it in the next week. So if someone else wants to offer, that'd be great. If not, then I think we just leave it on the agenda for now.
That makes sense. I guess first off, does anyone on this call want to volunteer to do it instead of Lane?
This is Brent. I'm kind of new, but if I could help, I'd be willing to spend a couple hours if I could. If I would probably need a little bit of help of how to get in and everything, or yeah, because I'm kind of clueless about what's going on.
Hey, Brent. Hey, that's awesome. I mean, the good thing about this task is that it's pretty self-contained once you have, you know, all the data, and also all the data, in theory at least, is public, right? It's all on Ethereum plus a little bit of extra stuff we've gotten from GitHub. I'm happy to, you know, get you started on it.
Yeah, yeah. And my partner Jim might be able to help with that too. So yeah, if you could just send us the data, get it in, and we could figure that out, that would be great.
Cool. So we can add an action item for Brent and myself to follow up on that.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Brent, for stepping up to do this.
Yeah, glad I can help. I hope I can help.
Anything else on this? Okay. Next agenda item was something I put up there. So I've been having talks with the EEA recently for a bunch of reasons, half of them being just my day job at Pegasus. But as part of those, the EEA is trying to find ways to connect with the mainnet community a bit more. And one proposal they have for that is to host a sort of DEF CON workshop to basically, you know, see what suggestions the community has and how they can best, you know, listen to those and whatnot. I don't have that many details on this so far, but I'm just curious if anyone is interested in being kept in the loop about this. So I've kind of been acting as a point of contact for both Pegasus and the cat herders, but I do want to let anyone who's interested in being part of this, be part of it. So yeah, does anyone on this call care about this? Otherwise, I'll also post something on our Gitter channel to see.
I'm not too sure that I understand properly that how we are going to be, I mean, like participating or taking up any of the jobs or responsibility over there. But yes, I would be interested to know more about it. So if you could just keep us in loop, or maybe we can talk about it in every meeting, that would be really great.
Cool. Yeah, I can definitely do that. I don't think there's any like concrete actions that have come out of it yet, and I'm happy to keep sharing if there are. But mostly, you know, I think the EEA is just looking for ways to have better relationships with people on the cat herders, with core devs, and whatnot. So yeah, just wanted to point that out.
That's really cool news. Thanks for sharing.
And yeah, 6 is any other business. So is there anything else someone wants to bring up?
Yeah, I was trying to understand the process of this H2, that how we are doing into that, since Brett is not there. I believe he was in touch with Danny from H2, that how we are going to take that. Brent, do you have any idea about it? Like last time, you were the one who reached out to Danny.
I missed that. What was that?
I was trying to understand the process. Like we came up with our own calendar, but I believe there is the bounty thing open for H2. So I'm not sure. Do you have any understanding of that? Would you want to share that?
Oh yeah, I'm still kind of confused too. Yeah, I did talk to him, and it sounds like he's overloaded and working on other things, and it sounds like there's just not anyone able to keep up with keeping all the action or all the work that needs to be done to keep everything in sync and keep everyone. So yeah, it just sounds like he's busy. But yeah, I didn't catch much information beyond that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah, he did mention that he's trying to communicate more with cat herders, but again, it sounds like it's a bandwidth problem.
Yep, got it. One more thing I wanted to know, I mean, if anybody have any idea about this ETC and interop thing that we were talking about sometimes back. It's not in the agenda, but it was there a couple of weeks back. So does anybody has any information or any more?
I don't have any update on that. I've heard through the rumor mill that someone, I don't really know exactly who this is, although I have some ideas, has been working on closer collaboration between ETC labs, I think, and like the ETH1X initiative, and that there may be some participation at DevCon or announcement or something, but that's all I know. And I don't think that's a cat herder thing.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn.
On the topic of DevCon, have we heard any, remind me, I'm sorry if this was shared recently and I missed it, but do we know if the cat herders session application for DevCon was accepted?
So it's still pending. Yeah, one thing I did is, so the first time I submitted it as a developer experience session. Yesterday they reopened the submissions. I submitted it as an ETH 1.x one, which I feel is more appropriate. So if any of you have contacts up in the Ethereum Foundation's DevCon review groups, please share the cat herders workshop.
Cool, that explains that. I saw an email yesterday, and that's why I brought it up. I was a bit confused.
Yeah, okay, yes,
yeah.
So anyone who is as an author probably got a second email. Yeah, so I just resubmitted it under the new category. Anything else, or should we go over the action items? Okay, let's go over the action items then. So 9.1, Hudson to work with Charles on a post about the ProgPow audit. That post came out, so I think this is done. We can remove this in the next agenda. 9.4, multi-sig key holders to work on separating the funds. Do we actually still want to do this now that we've paid out ProgPow?
So in theory, what should happen is that exactly the amount of funds that were raised for ProgPow should flow out of our multi-sig in the not too distant future, and there should be no to-do item remaining here. I don't know the plan, like all that's been paid so far or that's in the process of being paid is that initial deposit. I guess maybe we should wait for Hudson and Charles to comment on that.
Okay, cool. So let's leave it on the agenda. Next one is cat herders to review the document created by Pooja. So we discussed this already. Double check the funding from Gitcoin 14.1. So I think it might just be worth to add Brett and Lane's name to that one.
Sounds good.
Great. Follow up with Hudson to resolve and decide what to do with the ProgPow funds. So that feels like it's done. 14.2. Okay. 14.3 was William to work with Lane to perform an account of the current funding. So I think we can just delete that one and update 14.1 like we just said.
Yeah, just effectively merge the two.
Yeah, sounds good. And last one was 14.4, create a vote within the cat herders DAO to decide if 100 DAI is appropriate for the notes. I feel like we did that.
That was done in Aragon. I remember seeing that. I don't know what the final results were.
Yeah, I believe that passed. The voting was passed. I remember seeing some message in Gitter, but I'm not sure what happened after that. Like, I'm not sure if there is anything or anything like that. But yes, that passed. This voting passed.
Cool. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? Okay, and I guess just like logistically, so we switched this meeting by a week because last week kind of no one was available. Do we want to have our next meeting 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now? So 1 week from now and 3 weeks from now would be the regular schedule. And then 2 weeks from now would be if we just keep shifting them.
I would say 2 weeks from now, unless someone feels otherwise.
Sounds good.
The only potential consideration here is, are we on the same week as the ETH1X and, as the ETH2 calls, and then there's also the regular core devs calls, but those have been every week recently. So yeah, I'm just gonna say 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now would be right before the core devs call. So, and 3 weeks from now would be right after the core devs call. So do we have a preference about that?
If it were the case that we were doing something that was critical to the core devs and that we were reporting back, like maybe hypothetically some of the ProgPow stuff, then I could see value in it being just before, but I'm not sure that's the case at present.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's the opposite, where we'll kind of get stuff to do out of the core devs call. So I would almost push for 3 weeks, but I'll be on vacation for that whole time. So I kind of don't really have skin in the game here. But 2 or 3 weeks seems reasonable for me. Maybe we can just move this to Gitter and ask, because there's not that many people on the call. So ask people when it's best for them. Cool. So I'll post this and get her right after this call. Is there anything else?
Just back to the other one, 3 weeks from now, that's the blockchain week. Is that not correct?
Oh, let's do 2 weeks.
We run into Berlin Blockchain Week. That's true.
Great. Okay, so 2 weeks from now, let's do that. Yeah, great point, Brent. Cool. Anything else? Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yep.